Hello and welcome to Magical Maiden's Jewelry Tutorials on Magical Maiden. So today what I have for you is I'm going to make a necklace with some sequences. Now you might have seen the package from my other sequence, and it's a 3 package. See, they have 1 and 2, and the top one were round. They're different shapes and sizes, and some have the hole in the middle and some have it in the end, but we're going to make another hole. So you'll need your sequences, and you will need a push pin, and that's a push pin to make the other hole directly across. And we're just going to use whatever big ones, and there's a mixture of iridescent ones and then regular. You might want to pick up 2 packages of these. I would have had more of these, but that's going to come after. And of course you're going to need some chain. The Hobby Lobby, I needed some jumper rings, 6 and 4 millimeters. Prices did go up, but the prices of these sequences are $1.29. These all used to be 99 cents. Now with the purple and the silver, this is the package. They have different types of sequences, okay? They have the ones with the holes in the middle, and they're all different. But these have this. They'll have 3 pouches. And you can get this silver, purple, and this, and they also have gold and a few others because you want to pay attention. So the package has to look like this. They got to have the round ones with the iridescent, and they have small and medium round ones, and then they have square like that, and then these weird shape type ones, okay? So you look for that when you go there, and that's what it's going to say, okay? But now we're going to need some E6000 glue. And I'm going to need some toothpicks, some paper towels, your jewelry working tools, maybe a tweezer. And then later to shine these up, a Q-tip with some rubbing alcohol. Okay, so this is what I'm using as a connector type thing. Now this used to be gold. Spray painted it with a mirror silver finish, and you could probably find these possibly in silver, but this was from a bunch of filigree. If I can find the link for the filigree, then I will. I got it from Panda Hall off of Amazon, so you can look for similar things. And again, if I can find the link, I will put it below. So what we're gonna do, I want to bling it up because you know, that's how I roll. I like it. So now you can pick fine glitter nail polish or chunky. I'm going to do this. Now it was painted silver. Obviously, you're going to wait till it's dry. But I want a little glitter to it. So without clogging up the holes, because I'm going to need them later, I am just spreading some of this glitter nail polish. Now, if it clogs up any of the holes that I'm going to be utilizing to hang things off of, you could just use your push pin to poke right through it because it's just glitter nail polish. And if you want to do this, now this is just your preference, but I just love the way it makes it glitter. And again, you don't have to, but I want it a little glittery. So now this is the chunkier one. I like the little glitter. You can go and do little glitter and then over it some chunky glitter. See how that works? And again, if it clogs up the hole, just use your push pin and go through. But naturally, we're going to wait for this to dry. So I'm going to get rid of these nail polishes. Okay, so this has to dry. It is very gooey, and it's nail polish. It dries like within 10 minutes, so don't worry about it. Then why I have these are little acrylic gemstones. Now it didn't come in this package. This is an old packaging, but it came in like a bag. With it is I picked out a certain color that will match the sequence. It doesn't have to be exact, but you can try to find them. And I got those, that package I believe I got at Michael's, so you get it at Hobby Lobby. It's just a bunch of different, and now they're round, but they're different colors and different sizes. So that can run you between, and back in the day, and I've had that for years, that was like $11. So I would imagine it's probably pretty pricey now with the prices going up. But you don't have to get a big package. You can find them really anywhere. Look on Amazon, acrylic gemstones with the backing. You know, they're basically plastic, and that's the backing. It's like a silver. So once this dries, I'm going to glue these to the center, and then these little yellow ones for different coloring. Okay, so for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this aside and then I'll glue it. Because we don't want that to be too messy. Now I'm just going to get, all right, I'm just going to get a white piece of paper so you can see what I'm doing better. I usually do that for you guys. So now I'm going to get some chain. I got these from BB Crafts, and they were different colors. This was a while ago, but look at this. I believe I got it from BB Crafts. I could have gotten this from Hobby Lobby. I don't know. But I like this chain. See it? It's very different. So I'm going to use this chain, and you got to determine how long you want it. Do I want it a certain length? You know, what am I going to do with this? I'm going to poke a hole directly across from this hole, okay, because they come with one hole to the top. And I'm going to attach it in like the part of the chain here and there with 6mm jump rings. And I'm going to do that before I attach it. So, you know, you could do that and then, excuse me, you could do that and then have some chain and that, but I think I'm going to do it with some jump rings. So I just punched another hole directly across from that, and I went in the front and the back, and then I rounded it off with my round nose pliers. Don't stick it all the way. So I just did another one. I'm going to push my push pin one way, turn it around. Now don't make that hole too close to the edge, because then your sequence will rip. And then just the very tip of your round nose, or you can use a toothpick. So I'm going to do the rest off camera, but I'm just doing this so you can see. So take your jewelry working tools. I have my chain nose and then maybe my round nose. And I'm going to take the jump ring. I like a better grip on my stuff. And then I'm going to open up the jump ring. Now, for this part, you can put some chain in between if you would prefer that. You're doing all iridescent. Okay. So that's how I did it. And I'm going to probably put another iridescent and then go down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to attach some chain. Now to change it up, and also because I don't have enough of the round ones, I'm going to make it look a little different, and I kind of like this idea. And again, I'm using double 6mm jump rings. I'm going to do one side round and one side square. And they all have that. And they also have a clear one in mixed in. See, it's like a clear iridescent one. But I want that. So this is what I'm going to do. Now for this, I do have to make another hole because they have the holes in the center. So I just have to make a hole. And I think I'm going to make it like a diamond. So I'm going to make a hole here and here. And yes, there's a hole there, but there's not much I can do about that. But it doesn't really matter. You don't notice that. You don't notice that much. And I really do like the difference. It's just part of a design. See? And then once they're all attached, you put the chain, and then we do this center. So I'm going to connect these off camera, and then we'll go back to the butterfly. Okay, so what we have here is the butterfly now. Since it was just glitter nail polish, it's already dry. And see how glittery it is? I don't know if you can tell, but I will be doing better pictures once it's all done, and you can see. So now I want to glue these with my E6000 glue and a toothpick, and then later we'll go. So then later, once it's all glued, we'll go over it with some rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. Reason is if you get any glue on it, you get your fingerprints because we have to handle them. You might want some nice long tweezers. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is open my E6000 glue. It's clear. And I'm just going to take a little paper towel, get some of the glue. Okay, get a little of the glue, just a little bit. Don't go too crazy. And then I'm going to get one of these. Now, you could either hold it with your fingers or use the or you can use the tweezers. And then I'm going to put it in the center. All right, so we want to position them so they're exactly in the same spot. Okay, and now we're going to push down, and we're going to look at it, make sure they're even, because E6000 jewelry does give you a little time to move it around, but it does take 24 hours for it to fully cure. Okay, so now we got those two. The bottom ones are so difficult because they're so tiny. See what I mean? And they're going to be very hard to handle, but put very little glue on, but not too little that you can't get it to adhere. We're going to make sure that these are all even now, while I can still move everything. If you get a little glue, you get your second toothpick and just go like this around the edge. And see, it comes right off. Now that really does draw your eyes to it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So you play around. You could put a clear one. I'm just going for something that draws your eyes. Granted, these two colors are not going to blend, but everything doesn't have to match. I want this to stand out, and it's not going to stand out if it isn't, you know, a little different. What I do now is I'm done with the glue, and I'm going to get rid of this, and then we're going to clean them up a little bit before we start going back to the sequence and chain. I have everything just where I want it. I'm going to give it another look before I, let it go. Now I'm going to get my rubbing alcohol on the tip. Do blot it a little because you don't want it soaking wet. And now I'm just going to wait for it to be a little dry and adhere, otherwise you'll move them around. But look at how they're suddenly shining now. And if you think you got any glue, go ahead. Go around. But see how that makes a nice shine. I use this when I do glass cabochons too, to give it that shine, because you're handling it. Plus there's glue involved, and this will clean it up. If you see any more edges, take a clean toothpick or a pen and go around and get any glue. Okay, so let me just put this light a little bit brighter. There it is. So there we go. I've constructed this with two. I made sure, and even at the end, that there was always two 6mm jump rings, okay? And they're all connected. So now I've got to go do this, and the same way, you can change it up and have that, but I'm going to do it the same way. But since I'm doing it on a diagonal and there's a hole in the center, I'm going to do my holes. Make sure it's not so close to the edge. Go on one side, go on the other. Take your toothpick or a round nose and just at the tip. And then I'm going to do the other side. Okay, so now we have finished hooking these all up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get these two little ones to hook up to the butterfly. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see what I got so far. So this is what I got so far. And now we're just going to put a little bit of chain up top. What we want to put this around our neck to see. And we're going to need a clasp. And that's what they look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how much chain I need. Now, you don't need quite as many. If you would rather just have 3 and 3 and then chain, you can do that too. So let's see what it looks like, and I'll be right back and put the chain. Depending on how long you're going to want your chain, we're not going to need it too long. So I'm probably just going to just do a little bit. I'm going to need my cutters. Let's see if I can cut this. Okay, so I'm going to measure it. It's about 5 inches. So let's see. So here it is. And I'm going to move it around a little bit. I'm going to aim it towards the light. And so that's what it's going to look like on. So this is the earrings that I made with the sequences as well. And these cutouts for the top, you can get at BB Craft. I'll put the link. They're nice metal, kind of die cut it out. And then I hung the sequence with 6mm jump rings, and I wanted them to look very nice. They're kind of boho. They're nice for summer, and they'll go nicely with this necklace. That's why I decided to make that. So you can make this any way if you want. Now, if I wanted another piece to hang, I would naturally need an opening for that. Now, I could put 2 little beads at the end, but I like it like this. If you didn't want all these sequences, you can easily put chain. I might change it up a bit, and we'll see. So here it is. It's nice. It's finished. It's all shiny and shimmery, and it matches my sequence earrings that I made. I made these 2 as well. If you didn't see those tutorials, go ahead. No, my cat is not wearing that, but it's just to show you. And I'm going to put it in the sunlight. So here it is with the sunlight. It's going to shine and it's going to shimmer because I have the iridescent sequences as well as, remember, this butterfly has sparkles on it from the glitter. So it's really a lot of fun. It makes a nice summer necklace. And you can make it as long and short as you'd like. So here it is. It's all finished. These 2, if you haven't seen the tutorials for these 2 sequence earrings, go ahead and check it out, my jewelry tutorial playlist. But here it is. You got the iridescent ones, and then the regular green, and the round and the square, and the butterfly. So it really looks nice with the sparkle, and it makes a great summer necklace. And it's very different. And again, if you want to just put chain between each one, you can. If you only wanted to put 3 on each side, if you wanted all the round, you can do that. And that's all there is to it. It's very easy. it's affordable, and it's fun. So go ahead and make yourself one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my videos.